Hey, what's up, guys?
What is up, guys? The TheHillTwins are here. Back at it again with another video.
Okay.
Anyway, which we haven't done in a long time, so that's really, really dope. I'm playing Frieza, which is a bionic Frieza Resurrect the Monarch. You guys want to know what he does. The players who don't, he activates.
I'll tell him. So for the players who don't, he can only activate one extra card on the Awakened side, one yellow extra card per turn. You can also
Use it
activate
for
free by taking a life to your hand.
We'll reduce the cost.
We'll reduce the cost by one, which is pretty cool. And he awakens at 4 life. You would untap 1 energy, draw a card, and then on the flip side, he can actually reduce the cost of 2-drop or 2-drop or less yellow cards completely by taking a life.
Yep. And when he does that, he can rest one of your opponent's battle cards, etc. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the deck for Frieza. So we start off with 1 Black Mass Saiyan.
Nice.
It's a good card. You have to have it in the deck. It's searchable, and it's going to stop your opponent from going crazy, or they're going to pay really hard for it, okay?
Yep.
Pitching 2 cards. And it's also a Self-Awakener, which is great when you have to awaken in really, really weird obtuse situations.
Yeah.
3 Basil, Fatal Rampage. Basil, a lot of people run it at 2. 3 is a great number. Sometimes you have to charge or combo at early game, and you need to see it when your opponent's board is big or when you want to pressure unisons, etc. You just need it. 3 is a solid number. I do 3 Lord Slug, Evil Invader. It's a great 1-drop. It cantrips. It's searchable, so that's really great. It also plays the 3-drops. And on top of that, it can rest one of your opponent's battle cards by paying an energy, which is also really, really flexible because there's sometimes you need to do that trigger. Yes, and trigger the Bergamo, etc. So really, really strong card. I do 3 Chapels, the Iron Drake. Chapels is a solid number at 3 because you don't really want to draw into them, and if you do, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. But you'd rather not draw into them. And you only really need 3. You know, the deck space is rough, but searchable, and you want to search off Basil, you rarely hard drop this card anyway. So 3 is a solid number.
Yeah.
We do 4 Zamasu Secret Disbelief.
Bling bling.
I mean, there's
Not much to say about this card.
there isn't. I mean, there's
one
other
of the
super
best super
combos,
combos
but
in the game. Yeah.
this card is nuts. It's like, do I swing with Leader and get Nimbus, or do I swing with something else and get rested? Like this, we don't even got it over here. And then we do 2 Hidden Power East Supreme Kai. A lot of people are not running it or only running 1 copy. This deck lost a lot of its military power when we changed the Secret Rare, and that's because of the fact that obviously Kai came out and said, hey, I can rip your whole board. So
And it was
now,
also a little hard to bring out.
Xeno. Even when we was running it, it was really difficult. So now it's a bunch of single strikers besides your apes. Apes can get checked. Just want to make sure you have access to closing out the game when you're at 4 life, so that you don't drag it on too long, because you run out of stuff like Nimbus and Bergamos. You do run out of those resources, okay? Then for the 3 drops, we go into Lord Slug, Namekian, Super Namekian, 3 of him. Great card. I love this card. You can discard it to search out for that. When he's in rest mode, your opponent cannot add cards from their deck to their hand due to any other effects outside of the leader. So it's really rough. 20k, which is great, especially behind the double strike. Just a lot of reasons why this card is good. And it has barrier, which really is just, and it's twin that I like to call it, right next to a Putine. Putine, when I was running it before, I had it at run 1 when I tried to make space in my old blue-yellow deck, but Putine at 2 is just so important. Just controls the game. It's a free card. It controls the game. It's a free card, and it controls the game. That's it. It's nuts. I do 4 Mecha Frieza Robotic Riposte. Card is nuts.
These are the new championship.
Yes. It's a Topo-ish-esque card, similar to the other ones. I like this card much better than I do Heroic Prospect. Just forcing your opponent to rest cards is really, really bad for their economy. It slows their turn down. It shuts their turn down. You feel comfortable using this turn 2, any turn of the game. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And
this card is really strong.
It's pretty not. It's a pretty good card. I'm happy that they made this card.
He's beautiful too.
He's a very, very good card. And it's a very solid 1-drop negate. Gets you a body. It just does a lot. Moving forward, we do 4 grade 8 Bardogs. Three grade 8 Bardogs. Had them at 4. This deck, you really want to be very on point with your energy. You want to make sure that you're using your energy efficiently. So because of that, sometimes having a 2-drop, a 2-cost combo card in your hand is not going to be so great. Despite how good he is in the deck, he has to compete with other energy plays. I like him at 3. It's a solid number like the rest of the cards. It's kind of like the golden rule. It's a solid number because I can see it, it can be searched out, and I can use it defensively as well as offensively when I need it. But again, not the strongest card in the deck, so we don't have it at 4. I do this as a one-of Bardock. Awakened Instincts. I just love this card. It's such a, it helps you get moving with Mecha, which you have some stagnancy, and it's searchable, and it's just a good card. 20k beater, and guess what? It can sit next to the 8, right? Boom. For my 5 drops, we do 4 Bergamo Ferocious Roar. People are running it at 3. Yeah. This card, I feel like Mecha cannot win the game without resolving this card at least the turn or the turn before their kill turn. Winning the game involves Bergamo in some type of way. You have to put yourself in that position because you don't have cards that innately say, when I drop this card, it's game on board. It's like, you don't. So you need to have this, and sometimes you charge it, sometimes you have to combo it. It can get rough at times. So you need to be able to spare it. So he's at 4, even though everything else is at 3. 4, 4, and 4. Very, very important cards. 2 Secret Identities, Mass Saiyans as well. We run 3 overwhelms in the deck. This card, we need to see removal. You have to be able to remove your opponent's cards from the board. So that's just that. And he's pretty nuts. Then we do 4 Violent Rush Bojax. The card is phenomenal. In the deck, you get free value out of just super comboing and resting your cards, pitching one of these combos in order to open up plays. Feels like a blue deck. Feels great. It's a good card.
But I'm playing Bean.
Yes. Now we're going to go into our extra cards. And, the last card of the deck is our secret rare, and that's the Kai. Kai is super duper important. She's a lot more versatile than Celzino. And for a control deck, you would rather have cards that allow you to sit in that driver's seat, and this card is going to allow you to remain in the driver's seat alongside cards like this and that and what have you, just creating that game state for you in order to do well. You're not going to win on one turn, but throughout the game, that's how your win comes, from maintaining lead. Cold Bloodlust, it's a secret rare as well, and it's a one-of. Card's nuts, you already know what it does. 2 Planet Vegetas. Now, normally I had this at 1, but Planet Vegeta's power was bolstered between my main board and sideboard because it can search over this, it can search that, and it can search this. And then obviously I have sideboard options that it can search, like the 1-drop Gohan, Black, and others. I do 3 Vegeta's Final Flash. I wanted to do this at 4, but for space issues, you can only do, I can only do 3. Any other change in the deck, that would be added up. Card is phenomenal, feels good. You feel good against anything. It's basically Godstrike Beerus for free and 15k negates. The card is just pretty nuts. We do 4 U9 Assemble. This is the heart and soul of the deck. You need to resolve this early game in order to have an advantage, or your hands will be sitting there.
It's neutral game for you.
Yes, it's a lot of neutral game. It's a super duper important. You guys already know. It's great during the battle because you can awaken. You can trigger rests that do things during the battle, especially during your opponent's awaken phase. If they're awakening during your combo step or what have you, next battle you can get it. I do 4 Flying Nimbus also. Again, cards that are at 4 are hyper emphasized. Flying Nimbus, you want to be able to shut. That's it. I don't even got to explain.
You got the Flying Nimbus, you got your 4 negates right there.
Yes, there you have it.
You want to get past me, between me resting you and controlling your board, you got to get the Flying Nimbus and repose it. Period.
Right, exactly. And then the last, we have 2-drop Unison, which is Vegeta. In order to win against Dark Brawly, you gotta have to resolve this. You need to have this in play, or I feel like you can't beat Dark Brawly. Dark Brawly is just too strong.
Reposit is also good now, but yeah.
Reposit is good, but it's still not. It's not a lot.
Yeah. It's
not a lot when you still have to fight 30Ks that can drop a double strike. It's like and they're free. They don't gotta pay energy for that. And then 2 Mecha Kaburas. I had this at 3, and I had Mecha Kabura at 1. But I realized that You know, this deck doesn't necessarily need a unison. Aside from this to keep you protected and to go off the game. So most of the time you're not gonna have a unison on board statically, whereas your opponent does and you lose value. So if I don't awaken by turn 4, Mecha's to play. If I awaken by turn 4 and I have it, Mecha's to play. It just once you drop this card on your board, your opponent has to now change the way they play.
This is the play if you're trying to win the game. You don't need to drop this any earlier unless you're playing against decks that has big bodies and that you want to be able to control. So you really don't ever need a unison on board with this deck at all, because you're going to be controlling with this, controlling with the that right there, and controlling with that. You have your apes, Bergamos, and then the cool part about the double strikes, like you said, is at least you're going to have your double strikes on board to do damage. You get your Bezos with the dual attacks and your Kai for the double strike. So yeah, even the overwhelm 20K, you turn into 30K double strike.
Yes,
big
yes,
damage.
and it's so between double strike, and double strike, now you kind of have a way where you're like, okay, this is a big card that can be a finisher. Even something like this can be a finisher, especially our barrier cards where they can't really be interacted with outside of cards that affect
outside
them.
Of the mirror match, right?
Exactly. So
during the battle, at least.
Yeah. So that's that. This is the card. This is the deck. This is 58 cards. If you are someone who's having issues running, like seeing the cards that you want, you can reduce a Kai down. Some people have reduced Bergamo for versus Roar. That will put you at 55, 56. And
maybe you could take out a planet.
A planet. A
planet or a Nimbus. You got 4 reposits.
Yeah, a planet or a reposit. Yeah. I would probably do the 4 Nimbus. And then 3 reposits, and that'll put you at 55. For those even wanting to go lower, to 60, to 50. That's kind of rough, but yeah. You can reduce 1, you can reduce 1. A lot of people reduces 1, potentially reduce 1, so forth and so on. Reduce that, and you can play that deck in that way. But I think that this is a solid number for the deck. I was sitting at 50, 55 to 58, solid number, and it's definitely been winning.
Yeah, exactly. It's been performing very, very, very well. So that's the deck, guys. Hopefully you guys like it. Thank you so much. And this is Eon's main deck. Without further ado, you have any last words?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to learn how to play the deck,
updated video will be on Patreon.
An updated video and
with
analysis
the sideboard
and with sideboard and everything will be on Patreon. And if you like Mecha and you're playing Mecha like I am for set 13, hit me up.
Awesome.
So without further, as always, guys,
stay super.